think they came back on their last play day to have a really, really good day. They were seemingly more themselves, as we saw from the start of the season. In the middle, they had a little bit of a dip, but I don't know, BDS, they might find themselves a little bit stressed here.
Cannot forget either that Virtus.pro was up against a Rogue that made yet another roster change back then. So how telling was that 7-4? Shaiko upset about the Thatcher ban. It's not something I would have expected.
Maybe Shaiko's just upset about all bans.
That could be the case. I'm not totally sure on it. But yes, there is a lot on the line here. And while Virtus.pro, they managed to get out of their dip that they had, out of the slump that they found themselves in. But then again, BDS last time around, when their first place was confirmed, or at least the top two, they they went a bit easier on their opponents, lost a couple of matches, and that might be the case here as well. Not too sure. So it's just a big area of unknown in this matchup here.
Waiting for one more ban. They're taking their time, having a think about it today, getting themselves cooked. And as we kind of talked about, there's a lot in terms of the positioning. There's a lot in terms of the place and places people can end up. Valkyrie, that's a fair ban. Stops a lot of external aggression that can play. And I'm curious to see how BDS's game seems to come together here. And I guess it'll be the growth, the situation, and where we can kind of go.
Coastline aggressive map. We know a lot of fraggers are on BDS. However, Virtus.pro able to bring up a lot of the aggression as well. The Montaigne being, well, highlighted by Shaiko. The question is not the quest.
The quest.
Will it stay? I mean, we saw him doing during EOC, but he's not going to do it now. The Ash is coming out. He's off his usual Hibana for a while. Oh. We're going back to EUC.
Okay.
We're going back to the EUC, back to turn.
No. Okay. Come on, Shaiko. Come on. So yeah, we've seen, as strange as it is to say out loud, we've seen Shaiko on Monty. Okay, it was EOC. It was a charity tournament, and it was a lot of good fun. But, they're not entirely throwing themselves into this and throwing themselves away. They know that there's still some to play for, and yeah, they've secured themselves a spot, but with the competition beneath them all being as tight as it is, they want to try and solidify it, lock it in, and go into the end of this on a high. Don't get me wrong, they have the ability to hold some stuff back if they want to, but maybe that's one of the reasons we've ended up on Coastline, a map that can be so hyper-aggressive, one where theoretically it's down to how you're playing on the day and the aggro that you can bring to the firefight and the flat kind of levels of the danger donut that are offered here. It could work well for BDS too. I know I've said it's a good one for VP, but in terms of BDS wanting to just play a map, play guns, there's no better place than Coastline.
Can we pull up that tweet again that we just saw coming by, production? Because I think he said that both VP and BDS will win here today.
I mean, that's called a draw, and we usually...
We don't call that win. That's
maybe he means
a negative time.
Maybe he means VP will win, and then, but for BDS, they're still fine.
Well, of course, they will still be fine as a C4 being tossed up here by WTG, exploded prematurely. Shaiko will stay alive, not even deal a single point of damage to the Ashman, who then proceeds to take down Rask in some quick fashion. Beautiful headshot coming through, and that means BDS have the opening frag here. They're not intending to slow down, even though their first place overall has been secured. Their first place in stage 2 has also been secured. They want to go for more wins here. They're not slowing down. They're not giving anything away for free.
Now, as they wait for the swinging, Ranchiro is able to find the second, and there's one more for Shaiko, and there's almost one more, but it's shut down by Milon White swinging now. They still have a little bit of control above, and there's no clean way to rotate underneath, and in a 4 versus 2, there's going to be concerns that they're able to take control, so Milon is going to have to look for another route down. There's a body and luggage that they're aware of, and they might be able to catch Rafale here, who might not expect them to be so close. They don't! Milon swings against. Great information, great read, and great beat, but there's Bride on the opposite side. Now it's a 3 versus 1. WTG all left alone underneath. They have some Lucy's to give some ideas, and outside of that, just intel, so they pull themselves away from sight. If they can strike again, strike slightly off the beaten path, it's better than just being a goldfish in a bowl, being shot down upon.
WTG playing right behind the reception desk has the opportunity to peek in from the bathroom. Will be able to potentially take Bride down if he would be moving for the default plant. in server's entrance. But now, as he gets spotted, he will rotate. Moves himself over towards the bar side and, well, re-enters the kitchen. As right now, BDS inside is going to be firing some shots through, but WTG manages to survive and thus has to rotate again. Doesn't spot out the player there moving through the lobby. I believe that is a Lems moving through. It might be Mature, or it's either of the two. He's definitely spotted now, and the plant will go down, and that means 45 seconds will be left on the clock for WTG to get a 1v3 clutch and to get that diffuser going.
Wow, he's concerned about where one is, dancing either side of them on the desk. They're fully aware of where each other is, and at this point, this is all just seconds wasted in the hands of Virtus.pro. Sure, WTG doesn't have much health. He's able to take a lens even lower, but he doesn't quite catch the final shot. Skeleton Key was tempted, but BDS luckily there to pick up the pieces and keep them going. BDS with a pretty ferocious opening round there. The pace of Shaiko to get in alongside, obviously, the Buck above and tear their way through the top floor on the start of Virtus.pro. I don't even think VP expected the pace of the attackers.
Was really quick indeed. BDS not taking any time off. They instantly just entered the building from hookah, managed to pick up a couple of frags. They knew where the players were, and they decided to act on it. Not only Milon, who was described as the Shaiko 2.0 in the making, managed to pick up a couple of frags there. So, well, he's doing well, but unfortunately, no win coming out of it yet. But hey, it's only the first round. It is coastline. Attacks are not unlikely to be won here. Virtus.pro just has to make sure that it stays within margin. So like 2 or 3 rounds.
That's not the tweet that you asked to see again, is it?
No, it's a different tweet.
I like the tweets. We haven't seen tweets in a while.
But it is true. It is the final playday of Season 1 of EUL, or the 2020 season, as you might want to call it.
Yeah.
And after this, we go into majors and finals. So after that, it is going to be a brutal world of elimination matches and relegation matches and, well, a lot of championship points to be potentially tossed out the window because, you know, we do quite sometimes see some leads being lost and reverse sweeps to come in.
Now, it's something that I'm just going to very briefly talk about because it used to be the standard, the gold standard for this map, with the introduction of Mira alongside her, was always the constant ban here. But here, obviously, she's up, she's able in the selection process just to how these two teams play, and obviously they want to get rid of some of the stuff with the Wamai, and then Valkyrie as well is great for both these teams who love that fervent aggression. So I'm curious to see how much of a stretch Mira gets, because it was once upon a time cited that she was really the only operator who could make a penthouse hold feasible. And then obviously everything else got added on top, and then the feasibility of Penthouse with her high ban record on this map just went out the window. Here we're seeing good heavy setup from an operator who very rare to see danced around on Coastline.
Mira is that one operator that basically changes every single site a dozen ways. That means there's suddenly a lot more you need to prepare for, and that's why it often gets banned, because you just don't want to be practicing every single possible opportunity that the Ashe or that the Mira might be able to be used. As, well, Shaiko moves through, picks up another headshot. It's Rask to go down yet again. Another kill will follow as BDS managed to pick up a kill. Only the first response coming down now from Shockwave for the C4, but it's a 2-4 situation yet again. The diffuser has been dropped, but it will probably not be too impactful.
Well, that was an exceptionally sudden pinch there. All the bodies fell to the ground within about 4 seconds of each other, if even that. There's one more for the tally. Shaiko catches Shockwave sleeping and slipping, and, well, puts him down. Now it's WTG yet again alone, working their way along the bottom side. They found themselves into a slightly different position as they were in last time. They're waiting to see more and the potential of pulling a BDS player out, but BDS, they've got time. And they're utilizing it. They're clearing with angles. Okay, they're not really droning, they're face checking, but when you're in a 4 versus 1 situation with the pace of information these guys can do, well, it doesn't really take them all to sit back on their drones. They have one active, the rest, as I said, they're looking for faces. The one finds them anyway. Well, there's the feed, there's the filter, and there's a Lems. Finds the other kill on WTG, this time the other way around, and this time they didn't even have time to get the diffuser down.
Didn't even want to push for that diffuser because, well, the diffuser was ready and standby near the server's entrance. The call just didn't came through. And as soon as they realized where he was, surely he would be trying to get inside. Shaiko that was, but yet another very convincing round here from BDS on the board. And so far we haven't really seen much yet from Virtus.pro, who, well, have been surprising throughout the season. They've had their ups and downs. You know, you can basically look at it like a little bit of a roller coaster, their stage 2, because they started out with a draw, then they won three times in a row, then they lost 2 times in a row, another draw, a win, and now we're up here. So they're really going up and down in their form. And let's see what they can make of this matchup against BDS, who, well, the majority of this season have just been winning most of their matches. They lost to Na'Vi. They drew up against Vitality.
That's the predictions. People, if you're tweeting predictions with the hashtag R6EUL, maybe they'll be on screen, maybe they'll be immortalized, whether you're right or wrong. I guess that's probably the trade-off here. Now, I talked about the mirror and the possibilities of, they've opted to not bring her on this side. Yeah, makes a lot of sense. Sure, I guess you can kind of play into hookah above Cool Vibes stairs if you want to have a position, but it requires a lot of ADS. It requires a lot of control around that area and a lot of fear. This from Milan, though, the bait and play onto the big penthouse window. Well, it strikes Shaiko down, but not out. Crawls to safety. That could have been such a moment if they were able to capitalize upon the kill.
Could have been a really good one, considering the fact that Shaiko has been the source of opening kills for the past 2 rounds. Now he's all alone. He needs to wait for one of his fellow operators to be coming over to him to support. And it seems like Bride will be the one who's aware of the fact that the window might be jumped out of from. And as Shaiko got down from that one, he will be helped up. No questions asked. No one will be coming to jump out. No one will challenge the fact that he will be picked up. And that means Shaiko is allowed to use his utility, use his 3 flashbangs and the 2 breaching rounds to, well, make sure that the rest of his team has a better opportunity of actually getting these kills in. And after that, potentially try and frag out himself, because that is his favorite, well, activity within a game like this.
Keeping themselves locked in and under control. Obviously, this is the slowest we've seen the approach, but the shockwave that wasn't done by Shockwave, but into Shaiko either way was the start of, well, it could have been the end of BDS's round. They've been able to recoup and recount themselves and get the man back to his feet, and he's looking to try and enter onto Aqua. But with his health much lower than it is, he does not have the same face check confidence that we've seen over the past 2 rounds. There's a Jaeger and a Malusi either side. He has the drone and the information and the intel, so he's able to know where the swing is, but he's not going to bait and play the game. Doesn't want to put the pressure on a situation where it's kind of guaranteed to trade, but Pasha, well, he doesn't need to set up for the trade, picks up 2, dug in. Looking out towards Hukabauk, swings over the top, and oh, that was threaded through the brains of 2. Shaiko has the cover on the run out. You can hear the air jabs popping as well, and that's going to give them the incentive to start their climb inside. They're going to try and force Rask into luggage, but a couple of straight bullets give the game away, but Milan gives Rafal's game away, and puts us back onto the 2-man advantage.
It's all up to Shaiko now in a 1v4 situation. He was the one who managed to find the first kill in the likes of BDS, and is going to find the second as well as he takes down Milan. Still 3 to find, however. Question is, will he be able to land these shots? Nose one is on that balcony there, not able to land the shot quite yet as the prone comes in, and Rask able to pick up that final kill using the 416, dodging the R4C magazines that were being dumped at him. Managed to get the kill in the end, and VP, they find their first round in this matchup, showing they can bite back, because they definitely did.
Started with the double kill from Pasha, popped up over the shields. As I talked about that hold, they said it's a place where you can play a mirror, but I guess obviously that's citing it from the history of we've since had mini mirrors implemented into shields, which they played in pretty much the same way, just with a more direct line. And obviously, well, when you thread the shot like that with that SMG and get 2 kills, that takes a lot of control, and it was able to do a lot of business against the BDS that I guess just didn't really play against it properly. You have to have a little bit more caution, especially when you have a team with the gun skill of Virtus.pro up against you. Now we head down to Sunrise. Not going to try the kitchen hold again, and not going to try Penthouse. They're going to opt for something a little bit more, I guess, familiar is fair to say.
The bars indeed. A bomb site that is hard to play. As soon as you manage to nail it, you are going to be able to get quite some good rounds from it. And now I understand the texture ban that we see coming through, because you see 3 ADSs being placed on the single wall there to support the player that might be playing close. 1 EMP takes them all out. You can just toss in a grenade and the player is gone and there's nothing left to play with. So that's probably the reason why the texture ban is coming out, because well, normally you wouldn't really be considering Coastline a map where Heartbreach is really important, and the texture, of course, the main goal is to help the Heartbreacher open up these walls. But it can also be used, of course, to take out other gadgets like those ADSs.
BDS looking to try and get this top floor control and keep an eye on the rotation game that can be played. Shaiko is knocking on the door of the kitchen service run out, and well, WTG isn't found just yet. They're not going to fully leave. The Jammer's going to keep a bit of control, but as the bodies start to fall elsewhere, they're concerned about the pinch. There is one on this window, and WTG knows they have to take the fight, 'cause if they try and leave, well, it's not going to go very well. And Shiro might not know just how close someone is, but that's why we bring information utility. There's the pop, there's the intel, there's the C4, there's the miss, and there's the pressure coming from service sooner rather than later. 3 players of BDS are looking to try and close down onto this kitchen kill because they know it's something that threads its way into the entire hold of the rest of the site. Rask is getting the beat on the read of the rest of them, with Milon attempting to offer some slow and steady support from beneath, but the long game that WTG is playing here is exceptional so far. They've been able to survive, keep themselves moving, cost the utility, and it's kind of slowed BDS until now.
Oh.
There's one, there's concern of a run out, there's a waiting Shaiko, but there is Kitchen that falls a little bit into their turf. Goodbye, Milon.
Goodbye and good night as Rafale picks up the game, and a beautiful drone game of BDS definitely seems to be helping them now as Shaiko is getting tagged up a little bit from the master bedroom. It's quite confused where it's actually going to be coming from as Rafale now takes down Pasha. It is only up to Rask, who's finding himself in security, but not for long. Shaiko picks him up. It's a flawless round. BDS win round number 4. They're 3-1 in front, and it seems to become a very quick one if it continues like this.
I mean,
It's so frag heavy.
it's the thing. It's Coastline, and this is one of the things where I've said it's probably a good place for BDS to come, is they don't really have to throw themselves too deep into tactics, which we know that they can do well. We've seen them play the slow and steady catch game before, but here they know that they have to turn the pace up against VP, because VP is a high-paced team. When they get into their element and get into their positions, they can really start to strike against you, and a slower team can suffer. Not that BDS would or wouldn't. The argument more is here BDS are prepping for the future. They're okay to relax on the tactical game and just throw themselves into what they know well, which is gun skill, reaction, and pace. Sure, their close down in kitchen, as an example, was very, very well put together. They had 3 angles covered. We saw each individual drone giving a little bit more to the opposite sides, a little bit for Renshiro to get a bit closer to the kitchen window, and then a little bit for Shaiko, and then it led to, obviously, the pinch. They pushed him into a situation where he was uncomfortable. From that point onwards, well, we saw what happened.
Also doesn't help for VP, considering the fact that probably one of the best fraggers in the world, probably top 3, is on the team of BDS, and they're also having one of the best supports in the world, and well, it's just a really well-rounded team at this moment in time. And if you're going up to Coastline, of course, you're not going to be playing extra heavy now, considering BDS, their fate is already sealed, and all they try to do now is get as many points as possible for the 6th Invitational, which, you know, are going to help you qualify. Of course, they're already confirmed for that, I believe. If, you know, when I last checked the standings, there's no way they can get out of the top 16. But, you know, more points, more better, as we would say in broken English, because it might help you elsewhere. So, BDS, of course, will be going into that major in November with the highest priority, trying to make sure they can get a back-to-back win out and thus obtain the most amount of points possible this year.
Pasha's under pressure right now, and obviously they led to the 1-round success that we've seen from VP with a double kill of their own. Their hold, slightly less solid, but Rask is there to add some solidity. Finds Renshiro. Mobile and aggressive underneath, is able to strike, and Shaiko's going to have to try and strike back. Rafale is on the pinch, trying to put pressure onto where Renshiro fell, as Shaiko tries to do work here. They want to collapse around luggage too, offer some pinch and support there towards Aqua and above the site, but it all starts here, and starts with Shaiko trying to force them a bit further back. No one is moving. No man's land, and is not quite sure where the body has rotated to. He's found himself. Milon is just on the shoulder of a soft wall. So I guess now Shaco's hoping that the pressure that's otherwise being put down below is enough to draw someone out of position and draw himself into a kill. WTG finds a Lems with a nice drift shot there onto kitchen window. And wow, things are starting to fall a little bit apart for them right now.
Indeed, BDS picked up, 2 members got picked up there by VP, and Shaiko still patiently waiting for a potential peek to come in from either of these 2 VP members that are finding themselves around, well, the penthouse and theater room. Has to be careful as one moved into the 90 hallway, could be going for a flank later on. Rask is seemingly aware as well, as right now to see the impacts are coming in from below. The question is, will it be watched? It doesn't look like it. As WTG is actually going to get picked up from Shaiko, just quickly watches down, manages to pick up the kill and turn it back a little bit into BDS's favor. Flashbangs now coming in. He seems to be aware of the fact that one is indeed inside the hallway here. Swings left, is not going to be able to pick up on that kill. Milon survives, gets the kill to Shaiko, turns it into a 2-on-4 situation for BDS, who now need to fight up as they are 2 men behind.
Wow, Bride and Rafal, 2 big names still on the board. Rafal is going to slowly creep their way through land that was pretty toughly won with the man that's currently 9-3. Now it's just a matter of putting the pinch down on the site itself. Milon has moved in and got control of kitchen to make sure that they're still solid there. And with Rafal, wow, I was going to say creeping up the corridor might slip through, but does not. Now it's only Bride in 10 seconds. This is a round that is not going to be theirs unless it's thrown into him. He's able to at least pick Pasha with a nice pull, but with the shotgun on the right, it's only a matter of time before that happens. And Shockwave puts him out. Now VP, second round. They put themselves on 3-2. Can they get an even split on the turn of the half coast?
That is what they will definitely be aiming for, making sure that they get that even split to give themselves some opportunities to go up to that second half themselves. Because we know how important the attack can be. On a map like Coastline, basically any map, it's used to make the big difference. On Coastline, it's more so the baseline. It's that one map that is really 50-50 split. At least it used to be throughout history. And thus a 3-3 split would not be uncommon. And I mean, we just saw some predictions come by and all these tweets saying 6-6 VP BDS. If we're going up to a 3-3 split, that might be very likely.
3-3 on Coastline, that's pretty standard. It's a great map for attackers. These bans work in a way where it's going to be an aggro game, I think, across both sides. Obviously, Ace is a good removal when you're looking at some of the holes in your defense, which otherwise, you know, this was a map where famously you didn't have to focus on hard destruction as much. For a lot of these sites, a lot of it is more angles. It's the way you've tied the synergy of the sight lines. You know, if you're looking from kind of office across towards the service entrance, towards then obviously cool vibes in the bar, and it's a circle in nature. It's cyclical, I believe the proper word there is, but I'm sure I'm going to get roasted and corrected on it later for me bad English. At the same time, what you're seeing with Ace, if you're looking at a place like where WTG is reinforcing now, is it's able to open that up without too much of a huge cost, because you've also still got an amazing gun for the aggression that this map needs. Yeah, okay, Habana has a fantastic gun too, but not a huge amount of bullets. So you're looking at quick action, quick firefights, wielded by certain French players on that roster. It's some of the best play we've ever seen. But at the same time, there's other options.
There is other options indeed. Question is, will you use them? Will you choose to go with what you feel confident with? As this hatch, it gets played so often by VP. Often we see it coming down from below as well. For example, Shaiko finds himself in that bedroom trying to get an angle, but not always working out. And as Shaiko now moves through that kitchen, gets his drone into a position, hopes to find out some of these locations of these players, of these roamers, as he needs to make that first strike happen. He needs to make it count. And while Zalems now has blue bar control as well, we know that the next stop will be the cool vibe stairs, but there is that one Banshee that has to be taken care of. Luckily, Shaiko has the availability of this breaching round. It will quickly be put in. That means the breaching round will be destroyed, and as Pasha picks up the Lems, the fight will go down to the cool vibe stairs now.
Well, as the pressure starts to come, obviously with the death of Alems, it's a little bit of a blow of utility. Haven't seen the biggest showing from him so far, but talk about big showings. Pasha, with another double kill, is able to start things off in the right foot. Did the same last time we were on this site, and is going to make sure that he continues the tradition. Shaiko is underneath, and at least there's all of his blood inside his body, instead of left around a Lamborghini on the front. They're aware of a little bit of a pinch here against Milon. He's just going to pull away. Shaiko's going to apply the pressure on the opposite side, but gets caught out by a smoke canister before he can really start to push himself up. At this point, VP, they're not overstretching. They're not trying to pick bodies and pull them apart. They're happy. Happy to let them fall into the waiting more of Pasha, who finds his third for the round.
Finds a third indeed, and this gives the opportunity for Virtus.pro to push themselves to the 3-3 mark that we mentioned before, because it can be so impactful. Foul, looking to find a kill somewhere. We're opening up the door into Hookah now, but gets swung right away. He's not going to be able to land anything yet. Nitro will be pulled out. Gets a kill, however, on Pasha, so that means that Nitro will not go out. The door will be opened up, flashbangs will be tossed in. The question is, will it be enough, or will Shockwave be able to smoke them off for the remainder of this round?
Now then, as they try and actually push their way in with only 20 seconds in a 4 versus 2, it's going to be a tight funnel as C4s and more pop off either side. Obviously, Shockwave is still keeping a big overwatch from a site we saw was impactful before, but another body is fed into Rafal. They still have to funnel in. Rafal trying to push up Cool Vibes, gets caught out on the flip side, and there is the second pickup. There is the third round for Virtus.pro, an even split and an even half. Can they put this pressure onto their attacks?
That is the question. Can they basically match what BDS brought to them? That quick base, that quick succession, the quick amount of frags to come in. Will they go for a different approach? On the first side, it looks like they will go for a different approach. So we see Yana and Lion being brought. Will be swapped out to a Jekyll now, but of course the 6-pick face is still coming in, and that means that that Jekyll doesn't necessarily mean there won't be a Lion, as those might be interchanged within these next 6 seconds. Looks like it will stick to a Jekyll for now. That means that that will be their lineup that they'll have to do with the Yana that gets a Gemini replicator. Just basically a clone. A lookalike of Yana has the same gun in her hands, the same skins. You're not going to be able to tell the difference. The only difference is that Yana cannot shoot at you with the Gemini replicator. Meaning that it's just, you know, a harmless hologram. But if you shoot it, your crosshair will no longer be on the actual doorway, and thus opens up to potential refragging potential of that clone. And of course it also functions as a information gathering tool, which is of course in Siege, a game where drones and information and cameras are so important, the majority of ways how it get used.
Pasha's just reading the bottles there. Just finding out what's in them.
Yeah, trying to find out the recipe, you know?
Trying to find out the recipe. Celebratory drinks for the win that they might be able to pull themselves towards. A couple rounds in a row now, and they've got a bit of momentum that they otherwise definitely didn't have at the very beginning of this game. As we said, this is a good map for attackers, good map for aggressive teams, and VP ticked both of those boxes. They have been very good on their attacks on their good days, and, well, they've been pretty good on their defenses on those days as well. They seem to bring this solid idea of an attack, and that's why I'm, again, really happy to see these two teams butt heads on Coast. I think it could be a fun map for both of them. WTG pops in, looks for the errant rotations that were going on around here, but it seems like Shaiko has otherwise pulled away, headed towards the white stairs, and they can't quite get the drone where they need to because of all the mozzies, so they're just going to wait.
Right, they do. As BDS is not giving them any ground. VP might be, well, they're pretty on par with the speed that BDS brought on their attacks. However, they're not able to find those early kills yet. That might change, however, as the first scan came in. Milon managed to get the scan down on one of the players, but it's going to be Alems that gets the upper hand over Pasha. The scan doesn't matter to him and still survives the shots, still survives the assault. And right now we're on 3-3. But we're one man down on the likes of VP, and that means that BDS, if they continue what they did so many times before, is retaking their lead right now.
Well, opening up the angles and waiting. As I said, this is a great map for soft destruction angles, a great map for trying to pinch and pincer people without needing really to hit the hard destruction as a first step, as you see on a lot of maps like, say, Clubhouse. Here is awareness of positioning and rotation, and there is awareness of where Milan is. Shaiko is able to find one as he rotates out and gets his way to a new location. The body was in luggage, I believe, so that might have been dropped from the courtyard. Oh no, maybe the hatch was open. Potentially. Either way, they seem to be aware that the pressure's coming from this side. Yeah, it was... the reverse play.
It was open.
Up through the hatch. Beautiful.
Oh, we want to have the high ground reversed here. As WTG also managed to pick up the kill into Shaiko, though. Brings it back a little bit here for VP, but the wall will be opened up further, and that gives an opportunity to Shockwave to try and get in behind that bar and put himself up to a position where he could go for a plant. Has to be careful, though, because look at the C4 still available at BDS. 1, 2, 3, 4, and most of them are in the bar as a grenade comes in and gets it down into Renshiro. Of course, he's available to be picked up as Bride manages to get himself over there, but the grenade comes in. Rask, the second one to come through, and as Alam's is shooting out the booty of Shockwave, it is Rafal to follow up on Rask as well, and suddenly it's all up to WTG, who gets taken now by Alems, and round 7 goes to BDS. As well, VP tried to get a plan through, but BDS was having none of it.
Quick play there at the start, and then it seemed to peter out a little bit. We saw Virtus.pro get a bit caught and blindsided in trying to get the pinch on Shaiko, who obviously managed to find a kill as he turned tail, and it forced even more time out of the banks of Virtus.pro. Had to then go and hunt him down and make sure he couldn't strike from the opposite side. I guess it's always that tough job, is when Shaiko's on an on day, you've got to try and find a way to shut him down. Not an easy feat in anyone's books, but, well, they've managed it for at least 3 rounds. They have the capability to manage it for at least 3 more. Hookah is where we're going to head to next, and BDS, a site where they've got so far no success here, at least in their attacks. Can they translate that to a better defense?
Can they translate it to a better defense? Well, I mean, they managed to get a pretty good one down into the bars the last time around, and if they're going to be able to use the same tricks to some extent and implement them upstairs, as we still have those 4 C4s available. However, this time there's the opportunity to go for verticality with those C4s. You can play from below, you can blow them up from underneath, and it can all be guided by those mirror windows that are being brought. BDS taking it for the 2nd round in a row here. Of course, it is a operator that gives you a huge amount of information on the actual site or wherever you deploy it. Considering it's a bulletproof window, you can just look through it. You can basically use the ping if you want to, or give call-outs to try and guide your teammates' C4s. It's going to be interesting to see how that combos.
Yeah, so this is what I was talking about before when I said you can set it up and keep an eye in. Obviously, they've gone for a very aggressive route. The reason they're popping it there is something where they can play that cool vibes aggro. They can be aware of what's coming underneath, but hey, if it gets blown up, then you've just got the rotation you'd otherwise open anyway, and it's still a bit of space you can have a bit of an open fire against. It allows you to be a little bit feasible and usable, but it also allows you to have that main central pillar door of the wall, even next to the door, as staying solid. There's no way for them to pop that mirror window from behind. There's no way for them to make that an even tougher place to get a hold of, so you're in a little bit of a better suit. That's more of a minor addendum to the more important one of our rotation is now a death hole. But Pasha almost dies from a death hole that's in the roof. The Lion pops off and buys them. Well, at least he's not dead. That's really the moment, but with only a flicker of health, the blood is probably going to get itself all over the shop.
Reaching round, Common killed. Oh, I thought he killed himself with there, but it's actually Lems that picked up the kill onto Pasha. Just rotated down the white stairs, picked up the kill right after the breaching route blew up. That is the entry frag yet again. He started the job himself by dealing a lot of damage from that kill hole through the hatch as well. And then finishes it off by quick little rotate down. Flashbangs are being tossed in. Will be followed up soon with a grenade of Rask. Bottles are underway. Will be taken care of. ADSs are still being wasted. No one is, however, behind there. So, grenade will be wasted, not having any impact, as Milan uses that EE1D to take control of Aqua. However, they have to be careful of the potential luggage flank to come in, as Lems right now is quite busy with that. He's about to come up from the back there, as Rask yet again will be pulling out another grenade. However, he has no clue where to throw them to. And it seems like he's going to be throwing them deep inside a hookah, just finding a little bit of HP, but not enough to actually get a kill down.
45 seconds, they at least have the Aqua, but they're just going to ping the sights. Rask is playing a very dangerous game on this window, but he's able to make it work. Shaiko goes down, just going for the full swing, and Aqua control is still there as they try and put the diffuser down. Renshiro finds Rask on the window, and that loses them a bit of important control, and that loses Shockwave this. The solidity of holding down, but he's able to swing around and get Rafale as Renshiro finds one of his own. They still only have a sliver of control, and Mozzie gets the kill from the sky with Brede locking it off on the second story.
The kill from the Mozzie onto the line was the round-winning kill. Because of that, the vertical control stayed in the hands of BDS. Of course, Brede managed to pick up the last one eventually, and both can be seen as important. But it's right now 5-on-3 here for BDS, who are stepping up on their defenses and having nothing of what Virtus.pro is bringing. And of course, Virtus.pro is bringing a lot of aggression right here, Fluke. They're entering the building quickly. They're managing to make quite some ground. However, they're not able to challenge BDS, unlike BDS was able to challenge VP on their attacks. And that seems to be what's hurting them right now. They're not having the opportunity to pick up these opening kills early in the round, which allowed them to just continue steamrolling through. Now they get them in these last 30, 40 seconds. But at that moment in time, you still need to find 4 more members who are all scattered around the map, might even have C4s underneath, and will be taking you out if you want to be going for a plant. So if they want to rush them and put up that pressure, they will have to go for kills as well.
5-3 BDS, that's 2 defenses in a row. You've been able to, kind of lead into this, but you opened your attacks with 2 pretty decisive wins, and then VP were able to step in, step up. So there's a little bit of hope here for Virtus.pro. They've been able to show growth and some aggro into an aggro game before. Seems like they're just getting a little bit caught by surprise. Their attacks are quite spread out. We're seeing them, I guess, trying to find a bit of a pocket of control, but then their flank watch dies or their cover dies, and from then on, that little pocket of control becomes very tepid. They try to lean into that with more aggression. They try to respond with more aggression. Shaiko's responding to when he got caught out, but nobody has come this way, unfortunately.
He's trying to repay the favor, but unfortunately, as you said, no one of Virtus.pro will be coming up that way, meaning that the kill will not be repaid, or at least DBNO state. And again, a very quick entry here into office, moving through into security and hoping to enter the lobby soon. There is a drone chasing up for Pasha. It's actually been deployed as a flank drone, probably later on in the round, because it seems like their priority will be laying onto the actual bars. And it's understandable with a mirror window deployed towards the security side. You're not really wanting to challenge that. You need to find a different avenue to attack from. It seems like WTG is the one that's trying to achieve that, trying to create it.
Well, the bullets are flying through either side now as they try and keep an attentive aware. Pasha was quick to get in here, but it's also been quickly read. The pop's going to come out, and Alems isn't going to take that firefight without the game being given away. He doesn't want to lead in to the possibility of the pinch and the line charge getting them. And Pasha's unfortunately nowhere to go. Neither does Brede. Shut down. A Shockwave creeps in with Rask on the opposite window, and WTG and Blue Bar means they have the 2 bars under their control. Again, VP with a pocket of space, just as they had Aqua before, but the problem is they seem to not be able to make something work from it. Now, with ourselves in a kind of scattered firing line here, it's going to come down to the potential of the rotation above. Pasha almost catches the sliver of that as they slip past. They're aware acutely of where the bodies seem to be, but the one has slipped through, got their way back to site, and now they're just going to wait for the pressure. Shaiko wants to take a kill here and wants to take it on office. That means they can fully direct their attention to another way, and almost does. The Ash versus the Jaeger, the flashes come out, but Alems is still swinging on the opposite side. Goodbye, Alems, Pasha says, and doesn't quite find the bullets onto Shaiko, but another big pick goes their way. Shaiko, however, does find someone else to get his bloodlust out, and oh no, that's the diffuser cold on site.
And Shaiko in this current position is also going to be very deadly. However, Rask is going to be coming in. The pre-fire was there somehow, not ending up in the kill. And Rask will stay alive, but he is quite low on HP. There's only 2 members left of BDS right now. They still have the lobby control due to this mirror window. That means that the push of Rask is potentially not going to be happening from this side. And Rafal is still finding himself inside that kitchen, near to the actual diffuser. Picks up 1 kill to WTG, swaps over to the pistol, but won't be able to follow up. Pasha now going down with the plant. However, Inshiro sneaks around, gets gets the kill, gets back right behind his mirror window right here, and that means that he will be safe, quite safe actually, in server's entrance. They have no clue where he is as he sneaks out yet again, goes for yet another kill. It's a double kill from Renchiro, tries to snake himself inside the site, but Milan has 5 seconds left. Will it be enough? He's going to be going for the peek. He has to go for the pre-fire, but he does not, and Renchiro clutches it out. Like a sneaky snake, he slithers across the side, he slithers across the hallway, and BDS find themselves onto match point.
There was a moment where I didn't think he could get through the hole. And I was like, this is such a tragic way for it to go. He finds this little route through, but that is... I guess when Alems joined the roster, everybody talked about the game sense he brought. We first saw the run where he seemed to bring some idea of solidity. Apparently, when you watch them live, and unfortunately I've not been able to see it since OGA Pit, when you and I were both out there, but when you see them live, there's a lot of vocal. There's a lot of shouting. Alems brought a lot of that to the team, and that's a little demonstration of game sense. That's a little demonstration of experience. That's a little demonstration of how to be a sneaky snake and get a 3K clutch.
All right, sneaky 3K clutch in favor, or not, in memoriam, I have to say, of Chaos. The snake logo. It's giving them a bit of a shoulder tap here. Of course, they will be playing later today, unfortunately. However, it doesn't matter anymore. No major can be reached. No 6 invitational points. Actually, there might be some 6 invitational points to be reached, but it's not going to be qualifying. Them not going to be enough, and they will be relegated. That doesn't matter now because it's BDS that is looking unstoppable right now on the defense. As they haven't, well, they get a little bit of a dent the last round, but then Shiro was able to get a good, quite a good clutch out. So no panic yet.
Now with 6-3 and the full site rotation clear, BDS are in there. You know, they're in a pretty good stead, a pretty good idea of how they can get themselves to apply some pretty good pressure from this point onwards. They're happy and solid on their defenses, and they've had the boon of the defense playing towards their favor. Now, as they start their approach and their aggress towards just, I guess, another notch in success to put behind all of their game, it's seeing how it pings. But Pasha has definitely been a force to be reckoned with. Played exceptionally well for the Guns of Virtus.pro today.
He played really well, but unfortunately did not having the rounds yet to back it up completely. 6-3 match point. All Virtus.pro can fight for here is a draw to close off this final play day of them in 2020. Of course, afterwards we still have the major where they are locked in for, just like BDS, and the finals, which they're also confirmed for in December. So there is still play days coming up for them, but it will definitely be a closure to some extent, considering it is the last play day. We've mentioned it a couple of times now. You'll hear it many more times because it is the recurring theme, as literally almost all the other teams are fighting for either relegation or the final EUL/major spots. BDS and Virtus.pro have a bit more, well, relaxation in that case.
Wow, the Yana drone gets dropped and Alems is just going to head back round. Concerned about upstairs, but the C4, oh, it gets Milan and almost gets WTG as well. Only takes a sliver of damage, but there is the pickup. The Lion drone finally comes towards a kill. I don't think we've actually seen it utilized at the same time as being able to get a body dropped until just then. So, well, there's another body dropped. Hello, WTG, and goodbye, WTG. And goodbye, Rafal. Pasha, again, I'm going to talk about him being the big force so far for VP throughout this game, consistently showing up and being able to put bodies down across the rounds, even when it's all success or all failure. He is always a name that is littering the top right.
Right now, equal on stats together with Shaiko. VP have a 1-man advantage for this final part of the round, the last 30 seconds, and Shockwave is looking to get himself ready for a plan. The C4 will come through, but it will not land. It will actually open up the hole a bit more for Shockwave to try and go through. However, they forgot about the fact that there might be another C4 already, and they have that mirror window, so they know exactly when Shockwave wants to go for that plant, so it will be baited. A grenade will be tossed in by Rask. A second one will follow as well. The C4 comes in, but it will not be detonated. Oh, actually, it detonates delayed. No way that happened. And it's Renchiro yet again in a 1v3, but he's going to be able to not get that final kill, and Pasha was able to get in from the back just in time and secure the round for VP. But the delayed C4 detonation there almost managed to, well, basically win BDS that game. VP, however, due to the extra man they had, managed to stay in it. And they're yet again on another match point, but we're getting closer to the draw point here.
Blue Sunrise. We're going to double down. Obviously, Hookah is now available, but they're going to opt to try and make it work downstairs. Okay, it was close. Okay, it was almost another death-defying clutch in a row. And, okay, it was almost a different member of BDS pulling it up. Hey, that's BDS's roster, this split. If you haven't seen it, wow. All of them, yeah, they're doing pretty good right now. But hey, again, I'm saying this a lot, making a thing of it, but Pasha there was the one that got that final kill, was the one that was able to apply the pressure, really is keeping the team in it for me so far. Has been so good, so aggressive, and so electric at responding to BDS's game.
All right, the question here is, are we going to the full 12, or are we seeing it end here in round number 11? BDS have the opportunity to. New mute jammer being deployed just to make sure that the drones of VP are not able to get close, or no X-Garros can be deployed. And here you see it again. There comes a C4. The grenade will be taking care of Greeday. Somehow it just explodes. We'll be taking out Shockwave, leaving Rinshiro in that 1v2 situation, which he almost managed to clutch yet again. But this time, he was taken out just in time.
Shaiko almost struck against Pasha. The revenge and response for how it went, but Pasha's able to get out of the way with a lot more help. Took a wider route and maybe saved themselves their life. Shaiko puts a bit of fear into them, but kind of just put a bit of anger and energy into Pasha at this point. He's instantly looking to try and apply the pressure onto the staircase window. Now, with all of them across this face of the building, they're looking to get this top cleared and work their way downwards. Rask, in the meantime, is applying the split pressure from the opposite side, using the human drone capabilities of Iana, checking all the opposite sides. This is Virtus.pro. They want to keep this first story theirs, and then make their way down by the looks of it.
6-4. Hatch being opened up just to make sure that Bride could get his C4 back, which was stuck on it. It's a crafty little way to get it to fall to the ground if you can no longer reach it. Just destroy the floorboarding it's sticking to. That was a bit too late. Milan was in VIP just a little bit early. It doesn't seem to be too shaken about the explosion that just came down, and doesn't even worry checking it. As he continues, making up a little bit of a sight hole into the courtyard, able to take down Sneaky Rinshiro again if he wants to play it that way. Because that was the rotation he managed to use twice. However, we're in a different side. The side that was almost won by Rinshiro the last time around. We are in the bars, and Virtus.pro, they're putting some good pressure from above here with the puck. Skeleton Key doing some good work, and another C4 coming through. However, yet again, no kill.
It's too close and two scrapes. The WTG is able to escape with Pasha. Again, going for this top heavy clear as they make sure everything around this pocket that they want to control is free. Sunrise going in for the close corners plant on the default drop. Just on the tuck in there as we enter from the split side. Well, let's see if Shockwave can make it happen here. Rask and Milan are going to offer the cover and try and take a little bit more control, with WTG keeping a firm eye on the door to make sure nobody swings in. The canisters go out and Rinshiro cannot get purchase or access. There is the default site. There is the default diffuser going down, and there is a little bit of response pressure here from BDS. They're opening up their rotations and their angles, but the smoke canister is going to keep them locked down for long enough. Alems goes down, with WTG watching the door getting the first. Now he's going to head his way back round with Pasha, making sure nobody loops on the split there, and Rinshiro suffering a huge amount. There is almost a pickup from Milan, but they can't quite get the lockdown. The timer is ticking, and BDS seem a little bit adrift and out of sorts as they can't quite find their way through. Another body drops, and Rafal meets the expectation of almost being there too, but there's at least a response. Pasha finally gets taken care of. Shaiko is close, but still so far away, with a gun to his left and his right, and no immediate entrance and concern from above. At least Bride gets that watch, but the time it will take you to get there puts you out of time. And now it's just exit frags from this moment, and you can't even find one. Virtus.pro, their bubble of space has come through for them and put them one round away from the draw.
Round number 12 is upon us. It is a match point, but also a draw point to come through, because Virtus.pro has the opportunity of getting the 6-6 in here against what might be the best team in Europe well, it seems to be the best team in Europe, considering they won the last major. They are on top of the 2020 season. They are on top of Stage 2 as well. And that gives them a huge confidence boost going into the major, going into the finals later on as well. This Virtus.pro might be picking themselves up with a very important point. Not sure where we'll let them end up, but I believe if they draw here, then they can get either 3rd place or 4th place. If they lose, they will be probably 4th place.
Wow, BDS, as I said from before, they've got a lot of pace and a lot of potential and expectation, but as I also said before, their openings look good on their attacks, and then VP showed up. Here, same story. VP stepping up into this game, stepping up into the aggression, and stepping up against a team that's otherwise got control seems to be a trait that they have pretty well. On their days, if they're firing, they are so unstoppable in a lot of situations. And here seems to be just another example. It seems like what we're getting now is obviously a little bit of a different flavor as they try the hookah hold instead. They're not going to opt for another sunrise. We've just seen 2 different pushes and 2 different plants and 2 different success stories pretty much come through. They're one a bit closer than the other. Hookah was obviously the first win was on their defense, and now they're going to try and double it down and pull even for their total success stories here on this site. The pressure's going to come from the top, as we've seen from VP. It's a pretty steady, slow clear and cover all the way across, but who is going to get that very vital first pick?
It's a statistic. 70 to 80% of the rounds go to the team who had the opening pick. Now, it might go down a bit, it might go up again. Of course, it fluctuates. It's not always the same percentage. And it doesn't always count for these teams as well, because some teams, you know, they're consistent in getting an opening kill. For example, Tempera does it often, but they do not always translate the round into it. That's something to keep in mind. But of course, it is very important. It puts you into the opportunity where you can continue trading on until the end of days. If you manage to play it well, if you manage to position yourself well, Zelems takes the first gunfight here. We'll be putting up 1x Kairos, Shockwave that is. And that will create a opening into the theater room. An S-charge will be used, a bit of damage done to Zelems, but nothing to all terminal yet. As he is receiving quite a bit of pressure here from VP, but as long as he manages to stay alive in this mirror window, he's going to be able to do damage. The mirror window, however, now will be opened up. He will be spotted out as he drops through the hatch and tries to rotate out. Has a C4 available to him, keep that in mind, as Zelems is possibly going to be trying to pick up a kill with that. He saw Pasha rotating out, he's trying to catch him off, but Zelems is long gone.
What an escape Alem's made there. Really, you expect maybe one gun with how many bodies of VP were up there, and the fact there was an active drone. That could be a mistake that costs them a little bit further down the line. Yeah, they got control of this area, and they got control pretty quickly, but that could have very easily been their kill and their start. Oh, Milon. Was that droned or was that luck? Either way, it was successful. What a take there, drifting and driven through Shaiko, caught behind the bar and the barricade, which obviously did him no good. Now, Aqua has fallen into their control as well, and it's down to try and apply the pressure down this central corridor as Shockwave and Pasha are stacking themselves up, with Shockwave taking a shoulder of damage. Alems has retreated to office, still has C4 in pocket. If they catch someone by surprise here, this could be massive. They're waiting for some confirmation and waiting for Shockwave. There is almost a double, but not quite. They'll take it, and Bride with a C4 and still in position can try and stem and slow the roll. Here is Pasha down the main corridor, down the main core of this push, and another smoke is going to be positioned pretty well. There's another drop. There's Rask finding one, but doesn't quite lock off the other, and 2 fall into the favor of BDS. Only 5 seconds left. The diffuser carrier is cold inside the site. 1 second, one more C4, 1 explosion, no default. Alems gets the triple. They can't quite find the lock off. Oh, there it is. The quad. Just get the diffuser down. I said if they caught Alems, it could have been a different round. 4 kills for him in the end.
Very crucial round coming in, and BDS are able to take the win after what looked like a very convincing first 3 rounds of them. Managed to actually creep back to a pretty close result as VP was able to match the aggression quite well. However, unfortunately, we're not able to close out this matchup in a draw. And that means that BDS will continue this stage and will continue on top. Not that it was ever challenged here. But they will feel definitely good if they manage to get that last win in the season as well.
Well done to BDS. You ended on the high